Hello and thank you for watching my video. Today I'm gonna show you how to master the ed endings specifically for the past tense of the regular verbs. This tutorial is gonna be shown by my person, Moises Chacon, Anais Mayorga, and also Oscar Gonzalez. So let's move into the introduction. It is important for us as teachers to make you understand why these sounds are very important in English. And this is a really problem for a Spanish speaker because we used to confuse a lot with the ed sounds for the verbs in the past tense. It's a very common mistake for a Spanish speaker. So we have to improve our pronunciation and comprehension. And I'm going to show you some tips. We're going to have you some tips and how to improve this. All right. Thank you very much. Let's move into our next information. So let's see the difference of these sounds. We have to keep in mind that these sounds, it has three different pronunciations. The T sounds, D sounds, and also ED sound or ED sounds. The T sound stands for voiceless consonants. When we say voiceless, we refer that the vocal cords do not vibrate. The T, T. The D sounds then is the opposite of the voiceless, which vibrates. So the vocal cord vibrates. D, D. And the D sounds, which actually we gotta be pronounced the ED, and it's actually is like an exception for those for these two previous rules. Okay, so this is something that we gotta keep in mind specifically if we want to continue learning about this. So it is important for you to know these rules when talking about the pronunciation of the ed sounds for the past tense in the regular verbs. As I said before, the voiceless consonants are the one that does not vibrate. But we gotta keep in mind and remember the consonants at the end of each verb. For example, for P, F, K, S, G, G, or D, the pronounced ed, it's gonna be T. For example, like the previous verb, as we said, walked, or talked, or kissed. You see, kissed. The t sounds doesn't actually vibrate. So this is actually a voiceless consonant. So for that reason, the ed is not pronounced. Then we see the case of the voiced consonants, the one that vibrates, right? So as we see, we're gonna have some sounds in here like the v, g, v, z, j, j, d, mm. So these sounds, the sounds is gonna be actually vibrating. For example, we're gonna find loved. You see, loved. Okay. We're gonna see also um, amused, amused. So these sounds actually vibrate, and the 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 vowel is silence. This is something very important that we gotta mention our learners, our students, when teaching them about the pronunciation of the ed sounds in the verse. And we're also gonna see the vowel sounds that actually these are sounds that are silence, and this pronounce is gonna be the ed as the d. In this case, they're gonna be voice. For example, loved, loved. You see, and the last one is gonna be the t or d sounds. It's gonna be ed. This is an exception of the two previous one, an exception of the voiceless and voiced. In this case, the ed at the end of the verb it's going to be pronounced. Yeah, it's gonna break the rules actually. This is something that we gotta keep in mind and tell our students. So in this case, we're gonna find and remember it gotta be at the end of the verb that ends in T or D. For example, these verbs are waited, right? Treated. For example, this verb is the exception of this rule.
Devices for enhanced pronunciation. First one, visual aids. Visual tools like mouth diagram, vocal cords, illustration, and charts help learners to understand where and how sounds are pronounced. For example, showing the difference between voice and voiceless sounds with diagrams make the concept more tangible. These are especially useful for visual learners who benefits from seeing what's happening inside the mouth and throat during the pronunciation. Second one, audio recorders. Allow the students to record themselves and listen to how their pronunciation compares to native speakers. Listen backs helps learning to self-correct and notice pronunciation errors that they may not realize while speaking. Third one, speech analysis software. These tools are great for advanced learners or teachers wanting to give praise feedback. They help analyze details like voice, pitch, duration, and intonation, which are crucial in the measuring natural pronunciation. Fourth one, tactile feedback. Tools that provide a physical sensation like vibration helps learners understand when vocal cords are vibrating, voiced, or not, like voiceless. Uh, these are especially beneficial for learners who have different hearing subtitle uh, differences. The effective practice strategies. The first one, minimal pairs drills. Pairs of words that differs by one sounds, for example, packets or bagged, a highlighting a specific pronunciation contrast, focus on the ending sounds to practice the differences between t and d sounds. A teacher can use listening and speaking activities where the student must identify and produce the correct pair. The second one, shadowing. A powerful of technique where learners repeat meaning immediately after a native speaker, like an echo, uh, helps improve reading, intonation, and connected speech. Can be do with the video, audiobook, or YouTube clips. For example, the students could shadow some saying, he laughed, he played, they wanted. Number three, reading aloud. Reading stories, news articles, dialogues, help to reinforce the pronunciation and fluency. Teachers can mark verbs in ending in ed and mm, focus on applying the pronunciation rules during the reading. This builds both pronunciation awareness and speaking confidences. Fourth one, tongue twisters. These are a fun and challenging ways to train clear articulation and fluency use. It's important to use them as a warm up for pronunciation games to make learning more engaging.
Today's technology gives us incredible tools to refine those ed sounds that sometimes elude us. In this slide, we explore some fantastic apps designed specifically for this. Consider Elsa Speak, a real coach powered by artificial intelligence that gives you instant feedback. It's like having an English teacher always ready to listen and point out how to improve. Then there is SoundWrite, an interactive app that lets you explore the sounds of English with clear phonetic graphics. It's a visual and practical way to understand how those sounds are produced. Speak Up is another great option, comprehensive guide with exercise for structured practice. And if you want to hear how native speaker pronounce its verb is your best friend. You can search for any word and hear it directly from people all over the world. These apps are like having a gym for your pronunciation. You can practice whenever and wherever you want and receive valuable feedback to help you progress faster. Now, having the best tool isn't enough if you just leave them in a drawer. The key to success is consistent practice. Practice regularly, a few minutes a day make a big difference in the long run. Consistency is more important than marathon session. Use resources. Don't let those apps collect digital dust. Incorporate the tools we saw in the previous slide into your practice routine. Self-assess. Be your own pronunciation directive. Record yourself speaking and listening carefully to where you can improve. Remember, mastery pronunciation of the ed journey, not a destination. Every time you practice, you are strengthening those mouth muscles and training your ear to recognize different sounds. With dedication and right tools, you will achieve the confidence you seek when speaking English, so let's practice.